Welcome into this edition of Bills Breakdown by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. The Bills just got some more great news from the National Football League in terms of their salary cap situation. We talked about earlier in the week how we were anticipating that with the upcoming TV rights negotiations and how much ratings have climbed, that we would see down the road that the cap would jump up quite a bit. But we're already seeing those results much bigger than we initially anticipated. This coming from Dan Graziano of ESPN, who put out the following. The NFL today informed teams that a 2025 per-team salary cap will fall in the range of $277.5 million to $281.5 million, way up from last year's $255.4 million. Cap will have increased by more than $53 million over the last 2 years. So what does all that mean for Buffalo? We'll explain here in just a moment. Real quick, before we do, folks, we are bringing you more Bills content than ever before. We just passed our 1,000 subs on the channel, and we're not slowing down there. We want you guys to be on board and not miss a moment. If we get 20 subs off today's video, then we're going to bring you even more content than ever before. So if you love the Buffalo Bills, want more off-season coverage, this is the channel for you. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/BillsTV. You'll be glad you did. So that projection that we showed you of the number that was given to Dan Graziano, that is higher than any of the projections that we were looking at of what the salary cap was anticipated to be in 2025. And now that marks back-to-back years that this salary cap jump has happened the way it has, of taking these big jumps and being bigger than anticipated. Jason from overthecap.com put out this post and said that salary cap increase beats all but one estimate we had for some teams. Helpful for the Saints and teams near the bottom that were looking for that cap relief on that front. So if you're the Buffalo Bills, this gives you more spending ability. And one thing that we've talked about on this program over the last several weeks was that the Bills entered this offseason with some serious salary cap issues to work around. And even for a team like Buffalo, who didn't have a ton of cap space, this is the relief that you were looking for. In fact, this is a big deal for Buffalo to now have that flexibility that they weren't necessarily anticipating. And with some other moves that we expect the Bills to make, and we'll go over those here in just a bit, all of a sudden the Bills go from trying to look for pennies underneath the couch cushion to having some flexibility to do things they weren't anticipating. And that means being able to bring in outside players. That means keeping players that you were wanting to stay around. That is all good news for the Buffalo Bills. If you want the Bills to spend more money this offseason, all you got to do, our pinned comment today, type me in the comment section. Let your voice be heard. Let the Bills know that you want to see them spend more money. Type me in the comment section below. So to get perspective on this, here's what we're talking about, folks, as far as this salary cap situation goes. If you go all the way back to 2011, when yours truly was just a sophomore in high school, the NFL salary cap was $120.375 million. And then in 2012, it took a slight increase to $120.6 million. And then we saw a $3 million jump in 2013, a $10 million jump in 2014, another $10+ million jump in 2015, and then we saw a $13 million jump in 2016, $12 million in 2017, about a $10 million jump in 2018, then about an $11 million jump in 2019, and then about a $10 million jump in 2020. And then you go to the 2021 season, which was after the COVID year when fans weren't allowed in the stands and revenue was down all across the board. Teams had something different. They saw for the first time the cap go down significantly to 182.5. But since then, we've seen dramatic moves upward to $108 million in 2022. then another big jump to $224.8 million in 2023, and then about a huge jump of $30 million in 2024 from $224.8 million to $255.4 million. And then the projected jump, what teams were anticipating, including the Buffalo Bills this go round, was that it was going to be in the $265 to $275 million range. Overthecap.com, they were thinking it was going to be about 272.5. Spotrac was saying about 275 million. The NFL Network was saying 265 to 275. And now instead, we're talking 277.5 to 281.5, which is a huge jump. You think that this could have been 265 and it might be 281 instead? That is dramatic. And this seriously benefits the Buffalo Bills here. And if you're Buffalo, this team that was thinking to themselves, man, it's going to take a lot of work for us to get the roster we want for this team to get back there and compete for a championship, you can no longer claim that you're tight on cap space because you have more flexibility than you were anticipating, and there's room to find more money as well with some potential moves that should be happening in the next couple of weeks. So for all intents and purposes, let's just go with some easy math. Let's split the difference of the number the NFL has given, and let's just say that the base cap is going to be $279.5 million, which I would be thrilled if that's the case. If that's the number, then that gives the Bills a current cap space of about $10.13 million. And you're going to need $10 million just to be able to sign your draft picks. So that's not a lot of money to start. But money is on the way. If you restructure Josh Allen, all of a sudden, there's $11 million that opens up. If you restructure Dawkins, then there's about $10 million that opens up there. Now, you enter free agency, and you have a minimum floor of around $30 million in cap space, and you can work with that. And that's before some other potential moves that the Bills could be making here. And all of a sudden, this offseason is much more doable and much more manageable for the Buffalo Bills to deal with. Let me ask you this real quick. Speaking of having money to spend in free agency, how many free agents will the Buffalo Bills sign? How many and who is coming to town? Give me your opinion in the comments section, who you think is going to be headed to Buffalo this off season. So, now that we've done this, we have the current cap situation of $10 million. We got the restructure of Josh Allen at 11 and Dawkins at close to 10. Where are some other avenues to find money? Let's say that Oliver gets restructured. That's another $8.7 million you could save. And Von Miller, none of us anticipate is going to be back in Buffalo next year. Releasing him is going to save you over $8 million. And then a couple other guys. Samuel, you restructure him, you're saving close to $4 million. And then let's say you trade Elam. There's about $2.5 million you've saved. All of a sudden now, just with those moves, and there could be others, the Bills have $44.25 million in cap space. All right? That'll work. That will work. The Bills, you give them this situation and say, all right, you make these moves, and now you have this additional cap space. That could change your entire offseason and free up things for this team. And think about this. One of the things that we talked about on this program within the last couple of days was about the rate of where the salary cap is changing. 2022, salary cap went up 12.34%. 2023 went up 7.4%. 2024 went up 12%. 2025 went up between 8 and 9.27%. All-time average is about 6.5%. The cap growth is not slowing down. All right? It's going to continue to climb. And with these new TV deals and all of that coming in the very near future, it is going to go up exponentially. And I think that a salary cap of $300 million is coming very, very soon. It'll be here before we know it. So if you're the Buffalo Bills, the message is clear. Spend that money. You want this team to take the next step. You want them to compete with the Kansas City Chiefs and get over the hump and win the AFC and get the Super Bowl. Spend to win. That's what it's going to take, and there's an opportunity in front of the Buffalo Bills, and they can take advantage of it. For continuing Bills coverage, subscribe now to Bills Breakdown by Chat Sports. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.